Greetings to global Africans. This is King H from Manu Division, Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. I'm gonna I'm gonna read a letter from Christmas Ebini, and he titled it "An Open Whisper to Comrade Eric Tataw." Dear Comrade Eric, I hope you are doing well and taking all the necessary precautions to avoid the coronavirus. During the last Friday's demonstration, I pulled you aside and talked with you as a senior comrade and a father. I told you I appreciate your zeal to the fight injustice and unacceptable behavior in leadership within our revolution. This is worthy crusade. However, I think you have clearly made your points on this issue, especially against Comrade Sako and Chris Anno. I think Comrade Sako and his team have not carried themselves well in certain aspects of our revolution, by concentrating more energy on fighting them day in, day out can derail the focus we have to place on more productive aspects of the revolution. We have all been hurt by certain conducts within our revolution, but we should try to get stuck on that. We shouldn't try to get stuck on that, which hurts all of us more. The display of division, intoxicity, and hate among us is loss. It's lose-lose situation. It creates a vacuum in our revolution that is always easily filled only with violence and massacre against our people. The show of unity is among us is might and is might and defense of our people on the ground. Now, I haven't completely finished reading the entire write up by Christmas Ebini, but I'm going to continue and then I'm going to add a little spin off to what he's saying. I contributed and raised a lot of money towards my trip to Boya, but when I discovered that there was lack of financial accountability, I stopped contributing. However, I'm not going to be stuck on that every day instead of concentrating on doing positive things for the revolution. We cannot allow ourselves to continue to using all the energy and resources we have fighting each other. Please, please, the revolution needs your youthful energy on fighting the true enemy, our common enemy. That enemy of for all of us must be Paul Biya and his terrorist gang. Please let us stop fighting each other. If we continue this way, fighting each other and being divided, the enemy will crush us. Please, I am pleading with you to stop the attacks on Comrade Sako and let us together attack the common enemy. Let us be together for Friday's demonstration and avoid fighting each other. Let us shout against Gambo massacre. Let us shout and destroy against the genocide on the people. We will work at creating a forum and procedure for resolving our internal problems and disagreement. Let us go on Friday on March 13 as people who are together for the same cause. Please honor me as a senior comrade and father and adjust your position on Friday 13 demonstration. Please call off your plans to demonstrate on Friday against Comrade Sako. We should not be threatening each other on having counter demonstration against ourselves. Let us together demonstrate against the crimes on us by our common enemy, the vampire genocide terrorist Paul Biya and his gang of criminals. Much regards, Christmas Ebini PhD. Now, King H doesn't have a PhD, but I know what is wrong and what is right. He has clearly stated that Dr. Sako and even if you could also add Chris Anno, which is part of Dr. Sako's team, they've used the money in a very wrong way. They haven't shown any accountability. They haven't used the money for the purpose the money that was raised for the revolution for. And this is the problem. He stopped giving money when he found out that the money that was being used or wasn't accountable, or there was no accountability. Yet, he doesn't want to address those people who are causing the problem in this revolution. I'm encouraging Eric Tataw, and I'm going to be part of his team, to tell Dr. Sako what he did was wrong, and he has no right to demonstrate on March 13th. He has no right at all. President Sako or Dr. Sako and Chris Ano had a problem. And we will not stop talking about that, because they are single-handedly holding back the revolution. And if a PhD as Christmasatem cannot see that and hold Dr. Sako and Chris Ano accountable for their wrongs, then he himself is also wrong. Because if we don't hold them accountable for what they have done, the revolution itself will be destroyed. We must hold them accountable by any means necessary. By any means necessary, we must hold them accountable, because the death of our people is caused by them. If the money that was raised for my trip to Boya, if the money that was raised for my trip to Boya was used for that, if the money was used to buy guns to support our soldiers on the ground, then our soldiers on the ground would have the guns they need to fight the enemy, which is like Republic of Cameroon. And then they will be able to take down the forces of like Republic of Cameroon, which will cause less casualties, less death, less massacre. This is the reason. This is the reason that some of our so-called senior elders or whatever don't want to view. People are not contributing money to the revolution because of what Dr. Sako and Chris Ano and his team have done. And he himself, Ebini, said he stopped giving money when he found out they were not being accountable. He stopped giving money. I also stopped giving money, because they were not using the money for the purpose that it was raised for. They used the money for their own purposes. And their purpose did not contribute to the growth of the revolution, to the success of the revolution. Yet you are talking back to Eric Tataw to listen to you as a senior. This is that African seniority shit they always want to use. They are doing wrong, yet they don't want to listen to the youth. The youth are the one who are dying, are perishing, while the old quacks are enjoying the money that was raised for the revolution. And yet you don't want the people to speak against such evil, such madness. You want to speak back to Eric Tataw, not to counter the protests. Now, we will counter the protests. We will dare to speak against Dr. Sako and against the forces of like Republic of Cameroon, against President Paul Biya. Dr. Sako and Chris Ano are not different from President Paul Biya. They are the same evil. Their act has contributed to the death of many Southern Cameroonians. If the money that was raised for Southern Cameroon, for Ambazonia, for my trip to Boya was used for that purpose, so many massacres that is happening inside Southern Cameroon would not have happened. Because if our soldiers were armed to the teeth and fighting the enemy and focusing on the enemy instead of fighting each other. When we have a president who will tell other soldiers to go kill other soldiers who are fighting for the revolution of Amazonia and use Southern Cameroonians and not speak against such evil, then what is the difference with President Paul Biya, who is killing Southern Cameroonians? I'm not a PhD holder, but I see that there's some illogical reasoning there. When Chris Ano and President Sako are acting the same way as President Paul Biya, killing Southern Cameroonians, and you don't want us to hold them accountable for what? President Sako must step down. Must step down one way or the other. He's not for the people. He's not for the revolution. He's against the revolution. And he's contributing to the death of so many Southern Cameroonians. And this nonsense you wrote to tell a great leader like Eric Tataw to not protest. You want to use your seniority. That's the African mentality. They always want to use the age to influence the youth. Meanwhile, their way of thinking is costing the lives of so many Southern Cameroonians. This is nonsense. This is pure stupidity. This does not make sense at all. President Sako or Dr. Sako and Chris Ano are a problem, and we will not stop talking about it till we successfully take them out of the revolution and put the revolution on track so that we can win this revolution that we're fighting against like Popular Cameroon. We must make sure that inside enemies who are a problem, who are an issue to this revolution will not remain a problem and will not remain an issue. This is King H. See you on Friday, March 13th, because I'll be there to protest against the massacre of our people and against Dr. Sako